ocean's gray waves, destined to seek life beyond the shore, just out of reach.
What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you another Fire Emblem Fates video. Alright, so this one has so much information, I really have to split it into two videos. This time I'm going to be, well actually, before I get into it, actually the reason why I haven't done any Fire Emblem videos in about a week or so is because I've really been trying to figure out how I want to handle this. So I don't really want to spoil myself too much, but I still want to cover the game because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about and see. So I'm going to do some coverage on the game. I'm just not going to go really deep into story. I have watched the first 5 chapters. Game Explain did a live stream with the first 5 chapters of the game, so I watched that, and I have to say, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna probably do a spoiler talk on that, probably some other time. But what I'm gonna get into right now is kind of the non-spoiler stuff. If you don't want any spoilers at all, I understand, and you might want to skip this. There will be no story details in this video. I'll just be going over the new classes for each side. Now, a lot of these classes are reskinned versions of older classes, and some of them are actually classes brought back from way, like, very early Fire Emblem games that have been either brought back completely or brought back in name only for this game. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start this video off with the Nohr classes. There's so many classes, like, I mean, I don't really feel like counting all the new ones, but there's so many classes. I decided to split it into 2 videos, one for the Nohr and one for the Hoshaido, which I will release in the next few days. So we're going to get started off with the Nohr classes, starting off with the Outlaw. Now, the Outlaw is kind of like it's a replacement for the Thief class. You know, in this class, unlike Thieves, who can use swords, Outlaws can only use bows until they upgrade into something else. But yeah, you know, so Outlaws, they use bows. Pretty interesting class. You know, we don't really have the stats for the class, but more than likely it'll be a fast class. And also it'll be able to pop locks and doors just like Thieves and Assassins and Tricksters in Fire Emblem Awakening. Next class we have here is the Adventurer class. Adventurers use bows and staffs. So Adventurer is the next step up from an Outlaw, similar to how Trickster is the next step up from Thief if you decide to go down that way, or you know, if you decide to become an assassin, it's different. But yes, Trickster is the next. Adventurer is the replacement for Trickster, and is the next step up from Outlaw, which is interesting. You start off as an Outlaw, and then you become like an Adventurer. You know, so I'm guessing. I guess when you change classes, you lose all of your crimes, your priors. Oh, I got no priors now. I got a whole new job. But yeah, so the Adventurer uses bows and staffs. So this is, to me, this is kind of a nerf on the Trickster. The Trickster was actually one of my favorite classes in Awakening because they acted as a very fast, very hard-hitting frontline. Well, maybe not frontline because technically, you know, it does have pretty low defense, but they are pretty good, like, on battlefield healers. But it's still not a horrible class though. You still have, now you have somebody who can not only do indirect physical attacks, but they can also heal. So that's interesting. Next one we have is one that we were speculating about earlier when we first heard about it, and this is the Renovant Knight. Now the Renovant Knight is another rider class. It's a worm rider. But they use axes and tomes, which is an interesting combo. I don't think I've ever seen that combo in Fire Emblem Awakening. I know in Fire Emblem Awakening you had characters who can use axes and staffs, but I've never seen them that can use axes and offensive magic of tomes. So that's pretty interesting. And of course, since they're a worm rider, they can go anywhere and can fly and all that kind of stuff. So basically now you have a flying tank. The next one up is another class we speculated about from the Nohr royal family, and that's the Rod Knight, which is basically a troubadour. That's basically what it is. Troubadour, reskin troubadour. Next one we have is the strategist, and this one is interesting. Now the strategist, it's kind of like a tactician. At least that's the way I thought about it. I mean, tactician, strategy, tactics. But when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, it's interesting. They brought back the tactician. No, the strategist is basically a reworked version of the Valkyrie. So this is a reskinned version of the Valkyrie, and they use tomes and staffs. Next we have the Garou and the Managarm. I'm gonna go with Managarm. So these are the shapeshifters of the Nohr side. So these are the guys now, and I know in the previous video I thought these guys, I thought this was another form of the Avatar, and I was dumb for that, you know, that's me. But it's actually a completely different character. Both Nohr and Hoshaido have their own shapeshifters, and the Garou and the Managram is Managaram are the shapeshifters of the Nohr side, and they actually turn into werewolf-like creatures, which is freaking awesome. I thought it was a Yeti because it was a really quick shot, but they turn into werewolves, and they both exclusively use the Beast Stone until you change them out. And then of course you have the Butler and Maid classes, who both use hidden weapons and staffs exclusively. You know, I believe the difference between these two staffs are probably going to be, I believe the Butler will probably have more attack, more physical attack or whatever, than the Maid. Not quite sure exactly what the difference between these two classes are, because they both get the same special abilities and they use the same weapons. Kind of like on the Nohr side with the Priest and the Priestess. So I guess you can take Butler and Maid as just like male and female versions of the same class. Then of course, last but not least, we have the Nohr Prince. Nohr Prince / Princess, they use swords and dragon stones. And then of course the upgraded version of that class is the Dark Blood. They use swords, dragon stones, and they use tomes. Dark Blood and Nohr Prince / Princess are exclusive to the Avatar, of course. So this is interesting. Now the Nohr Dark Blood seems OP to me, because they can use like 3 different kinds of weapons, which is crazy. Which means they can be able to shapeshift, use magic, and use swords. That's OP to death. You thought Ignis on freaking Robin was OP. That's OP. Not to mention, you know, he has a mysterious charm or whatever they call it that boosts all of your allies. Like, yeah, even though you'll probably need that OP-ness in the Nohr side anyway. But yeah, that's about it for this video. So these are all of the new classes for the Nohr side. I didn't go into all the classes because you know, things like Sorcerer and Dark Knight are basically carryovers from, you know, Awakening. So I didn't go over those. We kind of know what they do. I just went over the new ones. Next video, I'll be going over the new classes for Hoshaido, and that list is like twice as long. So just prepare yourselves. That list is awesome. There's some crazy characters over there. I didn't really go into any of the characters, because some of the characters you see in these pictures are actual playable characters. I don't know their names because it wasn't revealed, and if it wasn't revealed, I didn't look for it. If you want me to go into the new characters, because I have seen a list of the new characters, but I haven't read it yet, I can do a video on that. I'll also be doing a video on new features coming to the game, because there's some pretty interesting new features that are coming to the game, and some old features from old Fire Emblem games that are coming back. I'll do a video on that after I do the Hoshaido video. Whew. And that's about it. Check out my anime videos. I'm going to do a reaction on Dragon Ball Super as soon as I find a sub, which is probably already out somewhere. I watched the Raw. The Raw is freaking awesome. I have no clue what's going on. But that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, keep it real. Keep it real.